All right. Well, good morning, everyone. It is another beautiful, fantastic, and wonderful Monday morning here at Health Plan Markets. Thank you guys for being on the call this morning. And thank you for being a part of that mission. What is that mission? To improve the lives of our community with affordable healthcare. So thank you very much for being a part of that. Um, we're getting towards the end of the month and also the end of OEP. So the most important thing right now is just wrapping up and ensuring that you're taking care of your members, that you're reaching out to anybody on your book of business that may have expressed some dissatisfaction in the first month or so of being enrolled in their new plans. If you have not reached back to your book of business, please do so. This is the last full week that you're really going to be able to do that before the end of OEP. After that, you're going to be scrambling to find an SEP. We'll talk more about that as we get closer. But for everything that you do this week, I really hope that you're contacting your book of business, making sure that they're happy and they don't need to make any last minute changes because you don't want them to make a change without you. Okay, very important. Today we do have a special guest with us. Mr. Brian Hubbard from Dedicated is going to be on the line, and we're going to give him the floor to talk about all the great stuff that they've got going on right now and across their universe. But as normal, what we normally do to start this call is we've got to keep one foot in the classroom and the other one in the field at all times, and that means training. So let's take a look at our training calendar here this morning. Let me share my screen. All right. So things are picking up here. We expect that training will be a little bit slower until we get into probably late April, early May, and then things will start picking up for 2024 with the releases of all the 2024 trainings for AHIP and the health plans as well. So today, Devoted is doing a town hall meeting, which is pretty cool. So that's something that comes across the way every so often. So if you're interested in joining a town hall meeting where you can kind of listen in and share your opinions and feedback with Devoted, there it is. That's at 3 o'clock today. Those of you that have sold Devoted most recently, I know some of you are very happy with their customer service and how they're treating the members, especially for you guys. I'm really happy the way that they're treating you guys when you're offering their products. So that's today at 3 o'clock. Also today in the afternoon, United Healthcare is doing their virtual office sessions. They're doing a couple of those throughout the week here. And just a reminder for what these are, if you have any questions, concerns, if you have, if you need training ideas, if you need marketing ideas, anything at all, you can log into these calls. I think that they're one of the better groups that really have a handle on, how to support you as an agent. So that's today at 4 o'clock. Moving over tomorrow, Tuesday, the 21st, we've got Cigna doing the same thing, virtual office sessions. And then we got quite a bit of training that's overlapping, so you're going to have to choose one or the other. At 10 o'clock tomorrow, Humana is doing a new agent Vantage review. And what that is if you're not familiar, Vantage is their portal for you guys to go in. And they've got a lot of great things going on. As far as a portal is concerned, Humana's really got a really nice one for you guys. You could check your licenses, you could check your book of business, you can download your book of business, you can check who's active, you can check member IDs, you can check Medicaid status, which is pretty cool. So if you haven't used Vantage, this is a good opportunity for you tomorrow at 10 to check that out. If you're a new agent, obviously that's going to make sense for you to jump in there and figure that out too. Also, at the same time tomorrow, United Healthcare is doing CSNP training. So if you're already familiar with Vantage, you can jump in there and learn about the chronic special needs plans that United Healthcare does have to offer. I think many of us, for a long time, we never had CSNP plans with United, so we kind of forgot about them. But they've got some pretty good products, and again, it comes with the name, so check that out tomorrow at 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock tomorrow, Devoted's doing an open training. Again, any questions, if you just need a little bit of TLC on how to sell Devoted, that's going to be tomorrow at 11. And then in the afternoon tomorrow, Humana is doing dental and vision training. Really great products. And now we're going into what I call cross-selling season. You're going to be able to contact your book of business and Humana is one of the few plans that offers dental for seniors, so you can actually approach it from a different angle instead of going for the full health insurance or Medicare Advantage. You can approach it from a dental and vision perspective. So really great opportunity to learn about their products there. On Wednesday, 9:30, it's Ask Al, virtual coffee and chat. That's internal here at Health Plan Markets. So across the board with any and all plans, you have Al Clancy available to discuss anything that you need, 9:30 on Wednesday. Also on Wednesday, Cigna's doing another virtual office session there, 12:30. Lots of support happening across the way, which I really love. Over on Thursday, you've got Humana, how to retain your book of business. This one's a good one, okay? You're getting ready to get out of OEP, lock-ins here, but there's still a lot of opportunities for folks to change their plan. Just remember, you got to be a master at retention is key in this business. So any and all trainings regarding that, there you go, Thursday at 11. Also 11:30, devoted to in their coffee and chat session, geared towards Jacksonville, all are welcome. And then the big one, the training for the week. We've got an advisor meeting, physical advisor meeting. If you're in the Orlando area, Central Florida area, we highly recommend that you come on down to the Drive Shack. That's on Corner Drive, the Drive Shack in Orlando. And we're doing our monthly advisor meeting. This one is sponsored by Freedom. So we're going to be talking about quite a bit on Thursday at 3 o'clock. We're going to talk about that Medicaid redetermination, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. We're going to go into detail about that. We're going to talk about Medicare Shop. We're going to talk about Spark. We got a couple of things to show you here today. And then, of course, Freedom's going to share with you some updates on their CSNP products as well. But don't forget, guys, those of you that are selling in Florida, you have a 5-star plan with Optimum. I think many people are forgetting that. It's a 5-star plan, which will keep you busy all year. If you need more info on that, come on down 3 o'clock on Thursday. And you can even sneak in a little golf in there, I guess. There you go. And then Friday, devoted to doing another town hall meeting at noon on Friday, and United Healthcare is open for those virtual office sessions 3 to 5. I guess you could call that a happy hour. There you go. So that's the training of the week. Remember, guys, we've got to keep one foot in the classroom and the other one in the field at all times. Thank you for that. Reminder, if you don't have access to this calendar, if you don't already have this on your phone, laptop, or iPad, please reach out to a team member or shoot us an email at support@askhpm.com. Awesome. Cruising along here. Also, big stuff here. The big thing here now until the end of the year really is about lead generation. How are you going to build up your AEP for next year? If you didn't really quite hit the numbers, or if you want to continue to sell year round and make this a consistent and successful business, you got to do events. So here's our event sheet here as another reminder here. All of your events should be reported here so we could support you. Also, we'll help you file them with the carriers, and we're able to help you get ready for your events. So I'm going to read this off because I think sometimes we just keep going to the forms and we forget about this, but all agents must report all sales and marketing activities scheduled to HPM. Why? Because we are your FMO and we are responsible for your activity and your sales behavior. This form must be completed by the 15th of the month prior to your event. So right now it's the 20th. You should be working on May events. April should be closed. You should be working on May events. Any submissions turned in after the 15th is subject to denial by HPM and or the carrier. So please keep that in mind. But the real big thing here, and we're going to talk more about events, especially with Brian and what he's got going on. It's got everything here to help you get prepared for the event. This is kind of like your checklist, if you will. But just a couple of things to remember. First of all, I know that many of you are not doing events, and I think that's a really big mistake. If you're not getting out in the community, if you're not getting in front of traffic, it's going to be really, really hard for you to grow your business at a successful rate. So the first thing you got to do is look around for events or partner up with folks that are doing events. And, Dedicated is one of those groups that is absolutely crushing it with events. And so that's the easy way in. You got to partner up with folks that are doing events so you can learn what they do and what's successful out there too. Be prepared. That's the biggest thing I could tell to you guys. If you do lock down an event, make sure you got a table. Make sure you got a tabletop. We can supply all this stuff for you, rent it out to you. Make sure that you give us enough heads up notice. We'll make flyers for you. We'll make banners. We'll get whatever we need to make sure that you look good out there. Okay. We've got all these things. And if you're doing enough events, we're happy to get you guys polo shirts or whatever it is to make you look like a pro out there. We've got giveaways. We've got all sorts of stuff. We've got tents. All of that is great. We even have an RV for you guys to use. Right now it's in the shop, but just know that it is available. With enough heads up and enough notice, we can get a 32-foot RV out there and really just bring the party. You know what I mean? So events are going to be big now and throughout the summer, and I really, really hope that you guys take advantage of that. If you need training on okay, I got an event, now what do I do? Please reach out to a team member, especially Tom or Al Clancy or even Victor or Lena. Those folks know how to do events and can coach you and train you on how to be an event guru. But that's really the secret sauce. It seems to be, and how do you go about doing it? Where do I go for events? These are places that, these are folks that you can talk to find places to go. So be prepared and make sure that that you've got everything that you need. Show up half an hour early, minimum. Really, you should be there an hour early setting up, so that way you can kind of chill for half an hour and just make sure that you're absolutely ready. So last thing is when you're at the tabletop, how are you collecting information? Now, remember, you have a built-in consent to contact form in your CRM system with Spark. Just as a reminder, I'm going to give you guys a quick demo on this. So let's say, for instance, you're doing a tabletop and you're out at a 55+ community and you're there with Dedicated because they invited you and you're the agent and you want to make sure that, Brian's going to call you and say, hey, how well did that event go? How many leads did you get? Those types of questions. Did you get any sales? And the question might come, the next day, or it might come a month or 3 months down the road. How are you tracking that? Are you still doing paper consent to contacts? I hope not, right? So I'm going to show you very quickly how to do that. So I'm logged in. This is the main page here on your CRM system on the Spark platform. You're going to go down to sources, and I want to create a specific consent to contact card for that 55+ event. So I'm just going to do 55+ whatever the name of the community is. I'm just going to put community here. And I partnered with Dedicated, so I know that is a dedicated event. And then let's say we were doing it today on March 20th. Okay, so we can get really specific with this. If you want to put the name of the rep that was there, just as an example, Brian's my dude, so if I can spell his name right, there you go. And so he was there with me. And so I'm going to add this source, and it's done. And look, I already created a consent to contact form specific for this event. And so any leads that pass through this specific consent to contact form, which you'll have on your iPad, your phone, your laptop, whatever you've got set up at the booth, somebody comes by and says, yeah, I'm interested in talking with you about my plan. You're going to have them fill this out. And then on the bottom here, you're going to see that there it is. The source is 55+, and there's my code. And then it even creates a QR code too. So if later down the road that you wanted to, put that on a flyer just to ensure that you've got it, there's the QR code. If you scan that, that'll take you right to that same exact form there. But most importantly, you can see how many submissions are being sent, and those folks are always locked in as that lead source. So really, really, really important piece of advice that I would recommend for you guys to get set up and to ensure that you're tracking your lead sources and obviously following up. So as soon as somebody puts that in, you have a full list of it. And then, in this case, if Brian says, hey, how'd that event go? You can go back and say, hey, we got, 4 submissions and I got 2 leads from it. And let me go look at those leads. Oh yeah, Mrs. Jones, I signed her up. Those are the conversations you need to be having with your provider groups and those folks that are helping you out. So there it is. And we are now ready to talk about our guest speaker here this morning, Mr. Brian Hubbard from Dedicated. Brian, I think you might be on mute, but give us a hey if you can hear us.
All right. Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to see you again, and thank you very much for taking time this morning to talk with our group. And we've got the ChenMed way behind you, which I'm sure you're going to give us an insight on that. But just really quickly, those of you that are in different markets like Georgia or in other parts of the world, you may recognize it might not be Dedicated in your market, it might be ChenMed. But I don't want to steal your thunder, Brian. Thank you again for being here, and if you can go ahead and introduce yourself and give us a good update on what's going on there.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate being here. Good morning to everybody. My name is Brian Hubbard. I am the center director at one of our Orlando centers here, Fairview Shores. We're located on Lee Road. So many of you have already been there and have placed patients here. So we thank you for that, for sure. So I'm going to give kind of a little bit of a broad update, and then we'll talk a little bit about some specific things, and I'll open up to any questions you might have that I can help answer. So growth-wise, just to kind of give you a quick update, there's been a little bit of kind of a reorganization in the corporation. And so the company has kind of split into 3 divisions. So if you're in South Florida, you'll know us as Chen Senior Medical. That's Dade and Broward County. If you are in some other states, Georgia, Virginia, you'll see GenCare. GenCare is also one of our subsidiaries. But the rest of the country, you'll hear the Dedicated brand. So the Dedicated brand is the brand going forward in the rest of our states. So we have a national division that is the national brand that goes to all other states outside of Florida. Florida has its own divisions because we're so heavily invested in Florida. So, but from the growth perspective locally here, I can tell you that we opened our 5th center. Most of you guys have been there by now, but it's in Winter Park. And they had their ribbon cutting grand opening ceremony last Wednesday. I saw a couple of you out there. I saw Victor. I saw a few more of you out there for the ribbon cutting. But that's an amazing center that just opened, and they are growing like gangbusters. I think they've been open 3 months, and they're closing in on 600 patients already. So it's a really nice center. If you haven't been out there, make your way out there. There's plenty of MGCs out there waiting to meet you guys and help you guys get familiar with. They'll give you a tour of the center, get familiar with the area. So that's a little local update on growth. And as most of you know, we now have 5 centers in Orlando, and each center has a team of MGCs, we call them, membership growth consultants. Okay, and those are going to be your best friends. So each center has at least 6 of those as a team. Okay, and their job is to go out into the community and find seniors and rescue them. So that's their goal, and they are really good at it. And that's where they can help you. And we'll talk a little bit more about events to piggyback on what Justin was saying. But as far as my center, my quick plug on my center here at Fairview Shores on Lee Road, we are growing as well. We're approaching 1,200 patients, and we've been open just a little over a year. So we hit the 1,000 mark before we were a year old. So I think that qualifies as the fastest growing center in the company. And we have now 4 PCPs on site. We have 2 more starting in the August-September timeframe. So we are expanding and growing rapidly here and trying to scale it and keep up with it. And so it's been fabulous so far. We have a great culture here. You'll know when you walk in the door, you'll feel it. Most of you have been here and you've kind of felt it already, but if you haven't, please come by, introduce yourself. I'm here every day, just about. So all day, every day. So I'm here to greet you guys. And really, I want to connect you guys with our MGCs. So if you don't have a relationship with MGCs, you need to get some. And we can help you with that. Like I said, there's a team of 6 at every center. That's over 30 MGCs in this Orlando market that are out there looking for seniors to rescue. And just know also, a lot of people don't know this, but an MGC can place patients in any center. Okay, so my team of 6, they're focused on growing this center, but they can place patients anywhere. So, and you can work with multiple MGCs if you want. You don't have to stick with one. All right. So it's very fair. to have one at Hiawassee and one at Winter Park and one at Fairview. That's okay. So it's however you want to run your business. We're here for you. And as far as that goes, we're talking about events. I'll say a little bit about this. Spring is in the air, so we're going to be out there, out and about in the communities, getting our events going. Our folks are experts in events. We love to partner with you guys on any type of event, tabletop, nutrition bus, food truck, ice cream truck. We do all kinds of events, and we're going to be really hitting the pavement pretty heavy here over the next couple of months as the weather warms up a bit and people are getting out. So why should you do an event with Dedicated, with an MGC from Dedicated? Great question. Well, as you guys know, when you put up a tabletop, you have to wait for the senior to come to you to engage you. And so the great thing about having a dedicated MGC is we don't wait for them to come to the table. We flag them down. We can go engage with them and bring them over and start a conversation and then bring you guys into the conversation. So we don't have that restriction since we're a provider. So we can, and we have, our folks are excellent at flagging seniors down. We don't let anybody pass within a mile of our tabletop without engaging them. So we can we're with a magnet to bring in those seniors to the tabletop or to the event, to whatever the event, if it's a wellness fair, wherever you are with your event, we're there to bring those seniors in. And so we're kind of that vehicle for you. We know good spots in the community. Our MGCs are out there looking for, the communities, the hot spots. We know where a lot of those are. So if you're having trouble finding a right spot, man, get a relationship going with an MGC or two. And they know where to go and they'll bring you along. We have a budget as well. So, we can bring that to the table as well. We have a marketing budget, so we can fund some of this stuff and partner with you guys on that. We're happy to do that. Every center, I'll tell you, has a huge party every Friday. Some call it Fiesta Fridays. Fairview, we call it Fairview Fun Friday. But every center usually has a big party on the weekends. We're kind of drawing in seniors into that big Friday. Fridays are big days at this dedicated senior medical centers. And if you've been to one on a Friday, you know that. So there's usually a food truck out front or an ice cream truck or music playing. And so there's a lot of things going on. So we like to have good, fun events to bring seniors in. And then one more thing I always want to make sure you guys all know is, we're here to protect your book of business. All right. Anytime you place a patient here, we put you in as the agent of record. So what does that mean, you ask? That's a great question. What it means is if we see something fishy going on with them, their insurance changes, their plan changes, something just doesn't look right, the first person we call is the agent of record we have on our system. And so we call you right away and say, hey, this person doesn't have this plan anymore, or they're changing plans, they're talking about this. And so you're the first person we go to. So we want to, when you place a patient here, they're going to be happy. They're going to love their doctor. And we're going to protect your book of business by giving you a call anytime we see something crazy going on to help to bring you in and make sure that they're not getting poached, flipped, or whatever you might want to call it. We're here to protect that for you guys because you guys work hard to get seniors in to the right plan. We work hard to get them in here into the right doctor. So we don't want that work, going to the wayside. So we want to help protect that for you. So, and then also one other thing is leads. So if you have a relationship with an MGC, there are times we run into seniors who don't have a broker. Okay. And when they don't have a broker, our MGCs are programmed to find them one. So that's where you also come in if you have that relationship. We call those outbounds. If we have somebody come in, we find a senior, maybe they're not on the right plan, or maybe they're not on a plan we accept, or maybe, who knows what, and they don't have a broker, then that MGC is going to, most of our MGCs have relationships with, about 5 or so a good handful of solid brokers. And so they will connect you and say, hey, I got this person just came into the center. They need some help enrolling in a plan, changing plans, or what have you. And you come to the rescue, come to the center, work together and rescue that senior. So that's another thing we also offer as well. So we want to grow your business, and at the same time grow ours. And as this Chen Midway says, everyone wins when we deliver on that. So I'll stop rambling now, and Justin, I'll hand it back over to you.
No, that's awesome, Brian. And I usually have some specific questions, and I think you nailed them before I even asked you. So no, thank you very much for that. There's a couple questions in the chat here. So Stan is our Brevard guy. So are there any plans to expand into the Brevard market, which is like Cocoa Beach, Titusville, and then down the coast there? Probably he wants one in Melbourne because he's very selfish. That's just who Stan is. No, I'm kidding. But that's where he's at, and great agent. And so any plans to expand out there that you know of?
There's nothing in that area that I'm aware of, but things change pretty rapidly around here. The ones I do know of that are somewhat close, we do have some plans to get into Daytona with a couple centers in the Daytona area. Ocala has been kicked around a little bit, so that's a potential. Let's see. Locally, those are the closest ones that I know about locally. But again, things change quickly around here, so you never know when something might pop up. But that's what I know of at this point.
That's great. And I got a chance to talk to Pedro and Dr. G, and they had expressed that they've got another like 150 sites that they're looking at across the country. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that they'd open one close by. The next question here is from Elisa. I think I know the answer to this question, but it's probably best that you address it. We got an alarm there. Oh, wow, we haven't had this before. This is fun. All good. If you've got to end here, we understand. Oh yeah. Can you hear us okay, Brian?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So last question here, and I'm so sorry you're going through a fire alarm there. Lisa's asking, do you place agents into your office? Because there's some centers that allow you to put an agent in an office. Is that something that you guys do, or no?
A good question. I'm going to try to answer it with this loud noise behind me, which is going to be tough here. Hopefully I can figure out how to reset this. But so the answer to that question is maybe. Okay, good. That stopped. Each center director really kind of is the owner operator of that center. And they basically decide, what goes on in the center. And so it may differ a little bit from center to center. But I will say, generally speaking, we don't typically, we try not to post up folks in the centers to camp out for the day, because number one, the seniors to rescue are out there in the community, and we got to go find them, and they're not going to just stumble in. You might get one that stumbles in every now and then, and we actually have great foot traffic out here. We're by a Walmart neighborhood market, so we actually have an amazingly fruitful parking lot. So we do have a lot of good foot traffic here at this center, but generally speaking, we go out into the community. That's where we find, the gold is out there. And the other thing is, we don't want to look like, if you come by and you see, a broker, camped out all day, you might think to yourself, hey, I got a lot of patients going here. Is he talking to my patients? And so, we also don't want to, bring that into the equation, because we certainly don't want that, because we're here to protect your book of business. So we are very, very intentional about how we handle things in the center. And I know we changed that a little bit during AEP last year. Some of you may know we were kind of rotating folks in and out, and our Chief program we were outsourcing a lot of our Chief, calling a lot of brokers and agents through our Chief program. But I think we're kind of getting back to what made Orlando the most successful, and that is, not focusing in the center and focusing outside the center and doing those events with you guys outside. So that's our main focus.
And that is exactly what I thought you would say, and it was perfectly eloquent. Thank you for that. The other part is, let's say an agent wants to do like an event and they want to host it at your center. Is that something that they could do, like like a turning 65 birthday party, or a Medicare one-on-one, or trying to figure out Medicaid, some type of event based, could they host those at your centers? Is that an opportunity?
Yep, great question. And the short answer is yes. We do love to do in-center events as well. And the key to an in-center event is ensuring that we're marketing it outside the center to bring in the seniors into the center. So that's the key. As long as if we partner together to do the marketing, you guys will bring some prospects in, and we'll bring some prospects in. And it should be, if it's marketed well, then it should be a pretty good event. So yes, we will do in-center events with brokers as well. So, and again, I just want to separate, we don't want you camping out and making this your office for the day, but we will do a great event that will help us both grow. So yes, those are two separate. We kind of separate those two things, but yeah, absolutely. In-center events we will do. We prefer the outside because it's easier to go to them. What we found is it's easier to go to them than to bring them all in here, because seniors, they don't like to move around a lot and go a lot of places. So it's definitely easier to go to them. But if we can have a good one in the center, we're all for that too.
That's awesome. And you guys have grown exponentially, Brian. I mean, obviously you guys have dialed this in pretty well. So you've got your secret sauce, right? So talking about, and last question here, talking about an agent, if you were an agent today, Brian, and you knew what was going out in the market, with the weapons that you have at Dedicated, what would you recommend to an agent that's, maybe wanting to grow their business, maybe get a little bit more aggressive, or maybe somebody that's new in the business? What would you recommend for either one of those folks?
Well, number one, I would say come tour the centers, come into all 5 centers. And because they're all just a little bit different, but tour the centers, meet MGCs, okay? Build relationships with MGCs. That's going to be your gold mine for us to help you, is to have those relationships. And again, it doesn't have to be just one. It can be multiple, and it's okay. Our MGCs will not be upset about that. All right. We've trained them that a broker can have as many relationships as they want with MGCs. So so come in, see the centers, and establish those relationships with our MGCs, and really understand what we call here the core model. And this is what makes us, this is the secret sauce, really. This makes us different than any other provider that you place patients with. Nobody does it like we do. And our MGC can teach you that core model and teach you what those components are of what makes this such a good place for a senior to be, and a place that a senior wants to be, and that they'll be very happy here. So, and I won't go into details on the core model here, but again, understanding and knowing that core model is going to be key. And the MGC can give you just enough information to where it clicks. You're like, oh, wow. Yeah, why wouldn't I want my patient to have VIP service? And what is VIP service? What does that even mean? So that's what our MGCs can explain that model to you, so you understand it, and and you can set the expectations with your prospects of, here's what you're going to get when you come to Dedicated. Okay. VIP, you're going to get PCP-led care teams delivering VIP service, detecting and managing high-risk diseases before you even see them, and then keeping you out of the hospital. So those are the primary components that make us successful. And what we always say here is our goal is to keep patients healthy, happy, and at home.
I love that. That is awesome. And George was asking, what does the MGC stand for? And membership growth consultant. I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that. But you want to think of them, and I put in the chat personal marketing assistant, but really it's your personal marketing partner. I mean, you've got somebody that's going to go out there and maybe they find an event today, and you find another one tomorrow, and you guys are working together as a team. I mean, teamwork makes the dream work, and especially like having somebody out there that's working with you to bird dog for you. I mean, golly, man, I wish I had this back in the day. This is just, I'm jealous. It's awesome. Awesome stuff. So Brian, thank you very much for being on the call today through a fire drill. You made it. I mean, that is amazing. Really appreciate your time and attention. And guys, if you have any questions for Brian, or if you're looking to work with an MGC, just shoot us an email at support@askhpm.com. I can tell you that Nick Street is going to connect you with Brian and his team of MGCs and make, a match made in heaven, hopefully, for marketing. And that's really what it's all about. So if you're ready to make the big move and do events and get out there and crush it and grow your book of business times 10, I mean, these guys are growing like crazy. They need quality folks to help them write the business. So please get involved on that. Brian, thank you very much for being here today. We really appreciate it. And everyone else, we'll see you here next week, Monday, 9 o'clock. Hope you guys have a fantastic week. And please let us know what we can do to help. Thank you, guys.